keeps you sane. It's a good solace. It keeps you… it helps you to sleep well in the night, but it doesn't awaken a different dimension of knowing. It doesn't awaken the possibility of exploring dimensions which are not yet within you. So if this has to happen, the most important thing is to be able…
So back to that once again is that, we were talking about as far as survival is concerned. So what you identify yourself as is something that would help you get through life as your survival. But that is only one of the dimensions, which is the normal dimension that comes open once you become in the physical realm. So that is one layer of a dimension, but there's so much more than just this. But what you know yourself as is what getting you through the process of life, which you identify yourself as. So yeah.
Sit here not identified with anything. When I said it's so hard to remain uneducated in this world, because everybody's busy wanting to teach you something. This is all I did in my life, to remain uneducated, not to be influenced by parents, by family, by religion that's happening around you, culture that's happening around you, education that people are forcing on you, just to be the way creation intended you to be, simply. See, I may not fit into the university milieu, but I'm okay, you know. Just simply…
So back to what he is saying, that he try to stay uneducated as much as possible, being that because of the less that you know, the less that is coming from your survival, the easier it is to make the intelligence from within, the really nature that comes from within, it blossom faster than anybody else who is educated, because you really don't have any kind of thought or emotions to stop the natural process from blossoming. So the less that you know, the easier that it is to blossom by nature faster. So this is basically what he's saying. That's why he wants to stay uneducated as much as possible, because it's an easier process. It's a faster process of blossoming by nature without having any kind of resistance in the way, which is what he's referring to as education. So yeah.
You were born, not tangling up your intelligence to any particular thing, either your nationality or your religion or your race or your creed or your family or any kind of identity or your gender or whatever, simply to be able to view your life just as a piece of life. If one does this, then you will see perception will explode in ways that they have not imagined possible.
Now, as a physical body, you're unable to not be influenced by the clothing of your culture, by…
No, this is a statement, this is not a compulsive thing.
But you don't dress as somebody who's Chinese or an Eskimo or something.
When I'm in the North Pole, I will, I think.
So you can't help… So from my perspective, there's this issue of brain plasticity, which is to say that we absorb what's coming in. And I think it's exactly consistent with your description about who you are in the end is an accumulation of all these perceptions. There's also the case that we come to the table with some pre-programming in our DNA, which I think is consistent with what you're talking about, is the memory of all of your ancestors leading up to this point. But because we are creatures that go around and vacuum in our cultures, and we speak this particular language, and we are males, and we dress in certain ways, it's hard to avoid that. Now, I'm guessing you're going to say, but you don't identify with it. Is that right?
See, what is a social requirement is one thing. I just saw you going into the women's room.
And you too, by the way.
Because that was the only bathroom available.
Yes.
So, by social norm, you do certain things. Because in the room that we were sitting, there was only women's room. I don't know why they marked it like that.
I don't know.
So you went in, I went in, every other male went in, only the female did not go. So now what you do for the norm that exists so that you don't collide into situations is one thing, what you identify with is another thing. So the moment you identify with anything for that matter, starting from your body to everything else, what is your body is the limited body, what you call as family is a larger body, what you call as community is a much bigger body, what you call as a nation is a much bigger body, what you call as humanity is a much bigger body. This is how human identities go. People think it's better to be identified with a nation than to be with an individual when there is a war or when there's some situation. People think it's better to be identified with the whole humanity, but any identity limits you. It takes away the fundamental possibility of what this life is. Identity is required for survival process to manage day-to-day situations, but it is not an exploratory process. Because the intention of science is to know. See, technology is a fallout. Unfortunately in this world, nobody would fund science if it did not spin technology, which is a very unfortunate thing. Because human intelligence wants to know, it need not be useful, it simply wants to know. So technology is useful, and what is useful today, tomorrow you may realize is very destructive, it may take away our life. So technology has to be judiciously looked at, what to apply, what we should not apply, but that judiciousness is gone because everything is commercialized and it's on, full force. Everything that we do after 50 years, we come back and say we did the wrong thing, now we're doing the right thing, and again after 25 years we come back and say then we did the wrong thing, now we're doing the right thing. Every stage of life we seem to know it perfectly well, but after some time looking back we know we did not know nothing, we missed too many pieces. So technology is something that we have to judiciously do. Science must happen rampantly, mysticism must happen rampantly because this is simply exploratory. This is not about seeing how to make it useful. But today, modern science has become a slave of technology. If you don't make it useful, nobody is going to fund you anymore. If you simply say, I want to know, nobody is interested in this. How can it be turned into an enterprise? That's all they're interested in. This is a wrong way to approach science, because science is a fundamental need within a human being wanting to know. It's the nature of human intelligence. It is not something that somebody made up. It's not a bunch of scientists who made this up. This is a fundamental need within human intelligence wanting to know. It is the nature of a human being, if he sees something new, he wants to know what this is, whether it's a small thing or a big thing. So to continuously sustain that wonder, that sense of wanting to know, is the basis of science and mysticism. It is only the fundamental approach is different in the sense, science is trying to achieve everything through physical means, by taking physical quantities, going by the physical laws. But physical is like the peel of the fruit, it has no purpose of its own. The peel is useful only as a protective layer to the fruit. We have to feed it, we have to decorate it, we have to dress it up, we have to pamper it in so many ways. Tomorrow morning if the fruit is gone, nobody is interested in this body anymore. Nobody wants to transact with this anymore. Only because there is something else inside, body is such great…
So basically what he's saying on this one is like, it's just like what's more fundamental and what's more important is that fruit that's inside. So if you look at it like a banana, that peel on that banana is just something that's protecting the fruit, which is the body. And the inside of the body, the inside of that fruit, which is the actual banana itself, is referred to as the consciousness, which is the most valuable part of the fruit. Once you eat that, then that peel you throw away. It doesn't have any significance to the peel. The peel is just, at that point, trash now. So if you look at that as the body, once that fruit is gone, they just go ahead and bury the body into the ground and it goes back to nature. It's alone. So basically that's what he's saying, is that all the stuff that valuable is inside the fruit, is inside that peel. All the valuables are inside that. But once you eat that, then you could just throw away the pill, that's what goes back to Mother Earth. So once again, that's just your body. Same thing. Once the soul, you want to call it, once the consciousness is gone, there's no value that's there. This body goes right back into the earth, or however that, whatever culture you're from or whatever side of the world you're from, however you do it, but it's no longer good anymore. So this is what he's referring to.